Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is my another video on Azure Monitor, and in this video I will discuss how to monitor your Azure virtual machine. In this video you will learn creating virtual machine on Azure, enabling recommended alert at the time of VM creation itself, which monitoring data you need to collect from your VM. Also, I will be giving demo to install Azure monitoring agent to collect VM performance matrices. So these are the learning objectives. Now start with the problem state. Suppose you are IT admin of an event management company and your job is to manage infrastructure that is running mission critical services application such as your ticket booking for events, venue information, upcoming tour updates, and your job is to maintain all these services should be up and running. You must ensure sufficient size on your virtual machine where services are active. Okay, so this is something your problem statement as well as your responsibility. Now come to the solution using Azure Monitor. Very first, if you are new and not much aware about all type of monitoring you should be enabling by default, then you can choose default or recommended monitoring parameters set by Azure Monitor. Monitoring performance behavior on your virtual machine, operating system, workloads, and application running on the VM. So this is all about problem and the solution using Azure Monitor. Now come to the monitoring for Azure virtual machines. Azure Monitor has two main features for monitoring. One is your Azure Monitor metrics, another one is Azure monitoring logs. Now if I explain you what is metrics in general, so metrics is basically your numerical value collected at predetermined interval to show health or status of various components within a system, which is your virtual machine in this case. Also, I added one more information specific to Azure Monitor that it retains the data for 93 days only. Means Azure Monitor can store your data for 93 days, metrics data for 93 days with some exceptional. So as per Azure documentation, it can store up to 93 days of data with some exceptions. And now what is log in Azure Monitor? So event that contains timestamp and structured and free from data. This is all about your logs. It could be your structured, means data in a defined order or format, or it could be a free form, means random order or format where you cannot predict the data format. So that's all about, guys, the learning objective, problem statement, the solution that we can have through Azure Monitor. Now there are 4 layers of monitoring in a virtual machine. It all starts with host virtual machine, then your guest operating system, client workloads. What is client workload here? Client workload is basically you have installed some application, some processes to support your actual application. Let's say Java processes or any some other plugins or some other components which are here to help your application to be up and running on virtual machine. So these are the 4 VM monitoring layers. Yeah, that's all about the theoretical part of this activity. Now we will start how to create a virtual machine on Azure, and also we will enable recommended alerts. To start the demo, first log into your Azure portal. Now in the Azure portal, search for VM or virtual machine. In the virtual machine, you can just create a new virtual machine here. Click on create, go for virtual machines. Select the resource group. I'm selecting the default one. Give the name of your virtual machine. This would be your host name. I don't need any availability zone, so I will select no infrastructure redundancy required. We'll go for the default options. Here I will choose the password option. You can enable both type of authentication, password or SSH key. I will go for password. Once you select the password, system will automatically Select the inbound port, which is 22 for SSH. Now go for disk. I'll not make changes here. I'll go for the default options. Same with the networking, no changes here. And the net management as well. For all these three, I'll go for the default options. Now here comes our first demo part, which is enabling recommended alert rules. If we are very new to the monitoring field, you are not much aware which all type of alert should be enabled. So I would suggest go for enable recommended alert rules unless you have a clear picture for what type of matrices you need alerts against your VM. So there are some recommended alert rules by Azure Monitor. These matrices all decided by Azure and the threshold as well. So these are the recommended alerts which will get activated. Also, you can put your email ID here, notify me by email. So as soon as any alert comes in, system will send you email on this email ID. Click on save. Now go for advanced. In the advanced, if you want to install some extensions which are already there in Azure, if I show you, such as your Datadog monitoring agent or any other monitoring or any other agent you want to install or any other component you want to install which is already there in Azure, you can choose it from here. So at the time of virtual machine provisioning, it will get installed automatic. You don't need to do it manually later on. So like Datadog agent, Dynatrace one agent, or any other type of agent or any other services that you want to install. So we'll not cover in this video. Custom data is also one of the field where you can put your scripts or any command that you want your system to execute at the time of the provisioning itself. So we'll not touch it here. Now go for the tags. Click review plus create. Now there's also one benefit that you will immediately get to know how much amount you are going to pay for this alert, for this virtual machine plus alert rule. So these many USD per hour you'll be spending on these resources, on this resource demo 2 machine. Click create. Now it will take some time to deploy the machine and enabling alert rules. Deployment is in progress. VM creation is successful now. We get the confirmation prompt which says your deployment is complete. Click go to resource. It will take you to your new VM. Then under the overview section, if you scroll down, you will see the monitoring tab here. Click on the monitoring tab. There are already 3 events, means 3 issues detected so far in my virtual machine by Azure Monitor. Now, if you look at the performance matrices, these are the available matrices for my virtual machine. These are the default matrices. Since it's very new, this virtual machine just now we created. So soon we will start seeing data here. So these are the default performance matrices. You see the network matrix. Now you see guest OS matrix is not available. Why? Because we have not yet enabled VM Insight to monitor our demo 2 machine. We will enable it later in the same video. Also, you can look into the activity logs. So guys, this is all about the demo to create a virtual machine and enable recommended alerts. So at the time of the creation only, we enabled the recommended alerts. Now in the next part of this video, we will use Matrix Explorer. I'll explain you how to investigate the traffic flow in your VM that affects its CPU capability and other performance matrices. Now go back to the Azure portal. So these are the activity logs. You will get to know what all activities performed on your virtual machine. It all started when they apply some policy, So everything, even though if you are rebooting the machine or you are taking any action on your virtual machine, all this will log here as an activity log. Now, if you go to the monitoring, click on matrices. There you will get to know all the available matrices for your virtual machines. Whether you want to know available memory bytes, available memory percentage, you want to know discrete bytes, outbound flows, percentage CPU. Let's click on the percentage CPU. We go for the count. Go for some other matrices. From here, we can choose the time range. Like I want to see last 30 minutes of data only, and also we can choose the time. Whether you want to see the graph in UTC or in your local time zone. So that's how you can choose your performance matrices here. There you see network out total. We could see few matrices here because just now we created the machine, so matrices are not much visible at this moment. Later on, we'll start getting the matrices value here. Also, you can create your own dashboard. You can add multiple matrices in a single view to compare it or to create a visual dashboard. There you see, we can add one more matrix here. You see all the matrices are coming in three different colors. Since remaining two doesn't have any data, so it is showing only one graph. Also, we can choose the chart type, whether we want the value in bar, in scattered chart. So we can choose in any of the in all the available formats. Now I'll show you how you can enable alerts on your virtual machine manually. Search for monitor. Click on alerts. Now you can create alert rule from here. You need to select a resource here. Either you can select the entire resource group or you can select any component within our resource group. So since my demo 2 VM was part of this resource group CID, select apply. Now we need to define the condition to generate an alert. From here, we can select a matrix, which they call it as a signal name. Let's take an example. We will select percentage CPU here, or you can choose any number, any matrix from all available signals. There are performance in log analytics. There are administrative, performance matrices. So there are different type of signal sources. You can choose based on your requirement, whether you want to go for log search, resource health, matrices, activity log, and also the signal sources. Suppose you are more concerned about the performance, just select the performance matrices. It will show you all the matrices coming under the signal sources. If you want to enable alert on available memory percentage, select the matrix, click apply. There you have two options, threshold type, static or dynamic. Static is all about what value you will be giving here. Let's take an example. If we want to have an alert when the average is greater than 80%, then only system will generate an alert. But if I choose dynamic, it will all go via the AI ops capability of Azure Monitor, where system will learn by itself when to generate the alert according to this condition. Suppose if I want to have threshold type, dynamic aggregation type should be maximum, and value is greater than, this is our severity of a alert. Now you see, it will create a graph by itself and will learn the system, will learn the behavior of this matrix over the period of time. It needs at least 15 days of data to start generating alert. Dynamic threshold needs at least 15 days of data to learn accurately behavior of your matrix and its performance. So after 15 days only, system will send alerts. If we choose threshold type dynamic, system will take at least 15 days to learn the behavior of this signal or matrix. It is recommended by Azure. There you can choose other condition, aggregation type or value is either greater than or less than of the threshold. System will set the threshold by the learning curve. So you don't need to define any value as you were doing in static. Also, this is something how many times system should check before sending a confirmation alert. Check every 1 minute. System will keep on checking every 1 minute. And if for continuously 5 minutes it sees that maximum value is greater than threshold limit, then only it will generate an alert. We'll go for the static here. I've given 80%. Now click action next. There some inbuilt quick action given by Azure. I have chosen email here, even though you can invoke any sort of automation, such as you want to restart a machine, you want to shut down a machine, or any other sort of action you want to take. That is very much possible through Azure Monitor. Or you can write your own custom script. As and when the alert comes in, system will execute that script to mitigate the issue, to bring down your matrices below the threshold. So I'll choose the email only. Now click next detail. So what type of severity you want to have for your alert? There are 5 type of severities available. 0 is for critical, 4 for verbose, which is minor, just then we have informational, warning, error, and critical. These 5 severities are available. Alert rule name is mandatory. I would say demo 2 test alert. This is the description. Advanced options are also there, but will not cover in this session. Click tags, review and create. So these many USD you will be paying per month for this alert. It will cost you 0.10 USD per month for enabling this alert. Doesn't matter whether system will breach the threshold or this condition will be utilized by Azure Monitor. Irrespective of this, Azure will charge you for 0.10 USD per month. Now click on create. Your alert rule is created now. You can click on under the monitoring within alerts, you can click on the alert rules to know what all alert rules are enabled on your virtual machine. There you see default plus the one which we have created recently. All alerts are available here. This one that we created manually, all others are default alerts or recommended alerts enabled by Azure itself. Now that's all about your how you can create a virtual machine, how you can create a virtual machine and enable recommended alerts. Also, I explained Matrix Explorer to view your detailed host matrices. Now we will work on collecting client performance counters using by virtual machine insights. I'll show you how you can enable virtual machine insight. Now, first of all, why do we need virtual machine insight? Basically, matrices will provide you an overview of your machine health, but in case you want to have a deep monitoring of your virtual machine, then it is recommended to have VM insights. I'll enable it, then I'll show you what all details you can monitor within your Azure machine, virtual machine. Now go for the virtual machine once again. There on the left hand side, click on the machine, demo 2. On the left hand side, within monitoring, you will see the insights here. Click on the insights. So it is not enabled. We need to enable it. What it does, basically, it will install a monitoring agent on your Linux virtual machine. Click on configure. Now it will take around 5 to 10 minutes to deploy the agent and start fetching the data from there. How you can validate if a VM Insight is enabled on your virtual machine? You can go under the setting, you can go extension plus application. There you will see a agent running on your virtual machine. Once it is deployed, I'll show you. So this is a monitoring agent that Azure has installed on the virtual machine as a part of the VM Insight monitoring. Now let's go back to the overview. Within overview, go for the monitoring. In the monitoring, if you remember earlier, we were not able to see. I'll click on the more matrices now. Guest OS matrices. Now it should be enabled since we have, now you see no data to display. Soon it will be displayed here because we have enabled our agent there, which is now monitoring much deeper and more resources which are there on your virtual machine. Within activity log also you can validate what all actions performed on your virtual machine. Here you see when we installed the virtual machine inside agent, there we can see the transaction in logs. Create or updated virtual machine extension, then other steps, and then the third step. So in the activity log, the system will keep track of all the changes whatsoever is happening on your virtual machine. Now go to the overview. Monitoring. If I click on the guest OS matrices, now we have the guest OS matrices. More details will take some more time because as you can see, it can take between 5 to 10 minutes to configure the virtual machine and monitoring data to be appear. So we'll wait for a few more minutes. Now it's visible. If you go and click on Insight within monitoring, click on the performance. Now you could see the performance matrices as well. Earlier it was all about the health matrices, but now you see those disk partition values are also visible. CPU utilization is there, available memory. Now if you look at the granularity, they are providing up to 1 minute of granularity for available memory. Like for every 1 minute, we could see the data, how the system was behaving. So these all matrices are available. When we configure VM Insight. So guys, that's all about creating a virtual machine, enabling default alert, set up a dynamic rule or static rule manually, and enabling VM Insight to monitor your virtual machine performance health. We collected the client performance counter by using the VM Insight. So this is the summary of entire video. Azure Monitor helps you collect, analyze, and alert on various type of host and client monitoring data from your Azure virtual machine. Now the important part here is clean up the resource. Since each and every resource which is running on your Azure VM is chargeable, so I would strongly recommend or suggest you to delete all the resources post this lab or exercise. How you can do this? Go for the resources, resource groups. Since we created everything under CID, click on it. Now within CID, whatsoever you have, or you know whatever being created through your lab exercise, just delete that, just click everything. And now click on delete. Right, delete here. Now what it does, it will remove all the resources that has been created under this resource group. Now it will remove all the resources whatsoever got created under default resource group. So guys, that's all about monitoring your Azure virtual machine using Azure Monitor, recommended rules, creating rules by yourself, and enabling VM Insight. Thank you very much for watching my videos.